One of the services that Kyle was providing that night was emergency medical services, or as he said, EMT. He wasn't a certified EMT, yet he called himself an EMT for most of the night. Whether he really knew the distinction between a certified EMT or not is open to question. It really makes no difference. But a lot of people have criticized him anyway, basically saying that he was playing the role of a medic when he should have let the real medics do the job. But there is a fundamental flaw in that argument. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnnie Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnnie Walker Dread Show.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and start reading a little bit here. Fellow street medic Gage Grosskreutz, we know who he is, was helping people deal with tear gas too. They were talking about people being tear gassed earlier in this story. Mara McKenzie, who had spent several evenings working with him throughout the summer of protests in Milwaukee, stopped to say hello. A 22-year-old with only 20 hours of street medic training to go with her CPR certification, she looked up to Grosskreutz, a licensed paramedic. Another guy in the vicinity, one Mara McKenzie didn't recognize, was telling people he was a medic too. But he made her feel uneasy. He had an AR-15, oh gosh, one of those AR-15s slung across his chest. No medic she'd ever worked with carried a weapon like that. By the way, see my other video, Dumb Argument number 37, where I discuss the arming of medics and some of the weapons that they carry. Some medics armed themselves with handguns as a last resort for protection, but their priority was helping people. Usually they were paired with security teams. Well, Gage Grosskreutz was carrying a gun that night, and I don't know if he really needed to carry the handgun as a last resort, but that's the excuse they're making for him here. Mara McKenzie's medic partner gestured to the young man. Avoid that guy. Ooh, he looks like bad news. And of course, for some reason, the person interviewing her didn't bother to ask her why. She would later learn the man who had drawn her partner's warning was Rittenhouse. The two walked on. About 10 minutes later, Mara McKenzie heard two men yelling at each other. She couldn't tell what they were saying. Shots rang out. A man fell to the ground 50 yards from her. Before she could reach the man, later identified as Joseph Rosenbaum, 36, a group of bystanders had picked him up and loaded him into a hospital SUV standing by for injured people at the edge of the Freighter South Medical Center's parking lot. Freighter is pronounced many different ways. I think it's Freighter. Back up, Mara McKenzie yelled at the crowds trying to live stream the scene. Give the patient his privacy. Okay, and it goes on. But here's a few things to remember here. One, Gage Grosskreutz, he took off chasing Kyle when Rosenbaum was shot. She went there to help Rosenbaum, who was only 50 yards from her, but she couldn't make it to him before they loaded him in the back of a car. So what does this mean? Is it true that Kyle should have let the EMTs and the EMSs take care of the medical emergencies going on that night? Well, let's think about that a little bit. Now, a lot of people are criticizing Kyle because he went into an area where the EMS were supposed to be doing that job. He's not trained as an EMS, EMT. Why is he out there pretending to be a medic? Well, there's a reason. The medics weren't there. Again, they would not go into an unsecured area. They're not coming. Kyle said it himself. They're not coming here. So Kyle feels that he has to do it. The grown-ups are too cowardly to go in there and help these people. I'll do it instead. So he straps on his rifle and he gets his med kit and he wanders out looking for injured people. Was it a little bit foolish to do? Maybe. I wouldn't have advised my own son to do that. But he took it upon himself to sacrifice his potential health to go out there and help others. Now, for those of you who think, well, EMS should have been taking care of this, when he shot Joseph Rosenbaum, where was EMT? Where were the emergency medical services? They weren't there. Gage Grosskreutz is a paramedic, and he didn't show up. He wasn't there to help. What did he do? He chased after Kyle instead. His friend that was with him, who was training as a paramedic, was there as a street medic. She arrived on the scene too late to help. She was only 50 yards away when the dude was shot. And yet she didn't get over there until after they were loading him into the van. She had to have been taking her sweet time. So the EMS, EMT people were not there. Now, I know what some people will say. Well, why didn't Kyle fix him? He can't. He's got a mob descending on him. And he's also in no condition to be helping people. He just shot somebody. He's going through trauma. He's starting to panic a little bit. That's the last person you want trying to help somebody that has been shot by a gun. So it's perfectly understandable why Kyle decided not to stick around and deliver medical aid to that dude. I would not have either. If he was on the phone with me and he told me what happened, I'd be telling him, get the hell out of there. And any responsible parent would be saying the same thing. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.